If you're a new or potentially struggling life insurance and or final expense agent, or you're just not hitting your sales goals, today I'm going to be going over what it takes to go from being an average agent to becoming a top producer. One of the things that I love most about this industry, about the life insurance and final expense industry, is that an insurance license is kind of like having your own money printing machine in the back room. Assuming that you, one, have the right personality, two, are willing to make the necessary sacrifices, both financially and time-wise, and three, you have a strong work ethic. And before we get started, guys, if you'd like a copy of the agent evaluation page that we use for getting referrals, this thing is pretty awesome. Just stick around to the end of the video. I'll show you how to get this for yourself. And if you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe, we would appreciate it. If you're a new agent, you should probably subscribe. We're putting out new insurance sales content and final expense sales training videos just like this, like pretty much every week. So let's talk about finding your why. This is very important. You need to figure out why you're doing this. You need to have your goals in writing. And I suggest having like a 1-year goal, maybe a 3-year goal, and even a 5-year goal. What are you willing to do to get there? This is super important. You've got to ask yourself that and figure it out. I would also suggest maybe creating a vision board. And if you've never done this, it's simply a collage of images that maybe represent your goals and your dreams, the outcome, where you would like to be, at the end of that 3 or maybe 5 years. As an independent agent, I really think that most people fail because of work ethic. So you absolutely have to teach yourself work ethic. You've got to do good, strong, positive work habits, not lazy habits. And sometimes you just got to force yourself to do the work. Now, let's say maybe you're doing telesales. I would say you want to force yourself to make a specific number of dials each day. And I would even say have a specific talk time in mind for each day, which if you're thinking, well, how do I do that? Okay, so you should be able to see this on the CRM/dialer system that you're using. You should be able to pull up all that data. And to me, this can be really hard if you're not already doing the business and maybe you're slacking or kind of naturally lazy. I think a big issue with people that maybe haven't worked full-time in a while is it's really hard to get motivated. So this, once again, this is really why a lot of agents fail trying to do this type of business independently. They don't have the work ethic. They can't force themselves to do it. They try and then they basically fail. And FYI, guys, did you know that most insurance agents actually quit after their first couple of weeks? It's true. And what happens is they often realize that they kind of got themselves in over their head. This is hard work. They thought it would be easy. Their mindset maybe isn't 100% right. So now they're not prepared properly. They're stuck working recycled or aged leads while trying to cut through the learning curve, which common sense says, oh, let me start using old leads so I don't waste the new ones, but then they don't get enough presentations, so it doesn't work. It's a fail on top of a fail. Guys, this is why, to me, it's really important to find the right insurance agency to start with, to work with, right from the start. So let's talk a little bit about the 3 stages of life insurance and or final expense sales success. Stage 1. You're a brand new agent, right? You're learning the products, you're getting comfortable making presentations, you're learning to use a specific strategy to deal with objections. At least that's how we teach our agents. Maybe you're just getting comfortable with the technology, so it's still foreign, right? And I would say if you're using an advanced platform, like where you get a lot of appointments, like what we do with our agents, everything still feels foreign. You're often just kind of fumbling and bumbling your way through your first couple of days. Now, you got stage 2. A few weeks later, possibly longer depending on your personality and how many presentations you're getting in every day. Maybe you've gotten more comfortable dealing with the objections. You're getting comfortable using different carriers. The process is getting easier, kind of simple. And now it's getting to the point to where it's just another day, it's just another dial day. Unfortunately, my experience is that this is where most agents get stuck. And now, 15, 20 years later, they've never gotten to that next level. And admittedly, I speak with these type of agents all the time. They think they've got it figured out. They think all they really need is a better lead when the problem is actually inside. And a lot of times the conversation starts out by like, they'll tell me, maybe they've been in the business for 15 or 30 years. And when I ask them, oh, well, that's great. How much money did you make last year? Don't make any excuses. They start going round and round. They start making the excuses as to why they're barely surviving or only making whatever they're making. And it's not anywhere near $100,000 or $200,000 a year, but they're surviving. And that's your average agent right there. They figure out a way to get by. Stage 3, something happened, maybe. And I say that for a couple of reasons. Maybe you've just gotten tired of getting average results and you've decided enough is enough. Kind of what happened to me. I got tired of the nonsense. I got tired of the excuses. And now, if this happens to you, you stop listening to those excuses and taking the nonsense from the potential clients. And this is when it kind of forces your talent to sort of kick in. And so it feels like you pretty much always have an answer. Or like what happens with some of us, it feels like, and I went through a stage where it felt like I was almost hypnotizing the clients to buy. I was trying to use hypnosis, and that was a fail. But at the end of the day, you're never just letting the client off the hook. When they give you an objection, you do what you have to do to overcome the objection. You've got a system in place that actually works and teaches the client more about you and makes them more comfortable. Let me share you a quick story of when this kind of happened to me. And there was a couple of different stages where it happened. So I had already started listening to my recordings, and this is back when I was doing face-to-face sales. Already started listening to my recordings and making changes to my presentation. I realized I kind of stunk, and I was able to change that. And so I went from being really horrible to being pretty decent. But I was still missing out on a lot of easy sales just because the client would tell me, well, I've got the insurance through work, so I don't need it, or they would make other objections. What I decided was, you know what, enough is enough. And it actually happened because I had a manager who used to always say, stop listening to the nonsense. You're listening to the nonsense. You're believing the lies. Stop doing that. So I decided, you know what, I got nothing to lose. In my next presentation, I am not going to leave this client's house unless they either A, hand me a check, or B, kick me out of the house. And I didn't get kicked out. And it was crazy. I had decided enough is enough. This was a young couple. They had a baby. He started giving me I've got the insurance at work. She started saying to me, and you may have heard me share this story before, she started saying right from the start, he never buys anything when he first meets anybody, so don't be offended. And then in the end, an hour later, she's going, I can't believe he did that. He never does that. Instead of me walking out with nothing, I actually did something good for these people just because I stopped listening to the nonsense and I learned how to take the objection and turn it into a way of just building value. Guys, this is your business. This isn't a job. For you to be successful, you're going to need to put in more time and effort than you absolutely would doing a normal 40-hour-a-week job. Not less, which is what most people try to do. And I would say by doing this, working hard and being disciplined, you don't need to get like what a lot of people do that go to college, for example. They get $10,000, $20,000 or more into debt so that they might be able to one day earn $100,000 a year. You can literally make double or triple that with a minimum financial investment. So let me talk about sacrifice a little bit. When I first got into final expense sales, so I had already been a Hartford insurance agent selling mortgage protection. My wife and I we were both licensed insurance agents. We were like, let's try this final expense thing. Guys, we weren't going out to restaurants. I sold part of my gun collection, like thousands of dollars worth of guns, really cheap. We weren't doing any vacations. That was one of the things that we decided, we can't afford to do a vacation. There was no vacation. It was a sacrifice. And then when we were in the field, we were doing these, and I'm not exaggerating, these 12 plus hour field days because we were driving hours to the areas we sold to, staying in some pretty icky hotel rooms. I mean, you have to figure out ways to push yourself, to do the work, to not quit. Quitting doesn't make success come quicker, trust me. 9 out of 10 insurance agents quit or fail during their first year. You've got to treat it like a business. It's not a job. I always tell agents, find an agency that has a system that works for most agents. That's really hard to do. I mean, what we're doing is pretty special. But you find someone who actually has it figured out, and you do exactly what they do. You follow their system exactly, and you never give up. Hopefully you guys got something out of this video. If you'd like a copy of the agent evaluation page that I talked about earlier in the video, the one where you can get a bunch of referrals, it's really an awesome way of getting referrals. You need to use this. Just email me at doug@ufesonline.com for more information on working with us on our remote final expense sales telephone platform where we get a lot of appointments. I mean, if you wanted 20, 30 appointments a day, we can make that happen. You just got to pay for it. Email me at that same address. As always, when you put the needs of your clients first, everything else will usually fall right into place. Now get out there or get on that headset, and whatever happens, make sure that you do something good for someone else today. Happy hunting.